This is Adela Sonola, the host for Bookyard Podcast. So, welcome to this episode of Podcast. This is a series where we're going to start bringing in quite a lot of people who work behind the scenes with authors. Because, like I said in my previous post, that we see authors a lot, but behind them are quite a lot of people with different areas of expertise that sort of work with them to make their work and their books come to life. But without going any further and spoiling any of the tips or the things we're going to do today, I'm going to introduce my co-host, Soji Fagade, and here he shows himself. Ta-da! And then we have this special guest. Special. I say he's special because he has spoken to so many authors in his life. That's all he does. He interviews authors, read their book, put them on the line, nail them to the wall, make them feel very uncomfortable. And that's Benji Okoh. Welcome on to this episode of
You know,
Bookyard.
sometimes I wonder when I get introduced. Sometimes I feel like running under the couch.
Yeah, you're really hot though, because I won't
I,
forget one of the times I came to your show, and it's a live show that you do, and I told everyone that knew I was coming on your show that, oh, listen to this show, it's gonna end at this time. And it just wouldn't end. And they said they wanted to sleep because we kept exploring and exploring. And we were there for, we just got carried away having fun, discussing the book and my work. So, welcome. It's really, really, really a big pleasure to have you here with me today and with Soji Fagade. So, it's going to be fun. I'll allow Soji to say a few words before he says, you know, holding on to everything. We can't hear you, Soji. We can't hear you, Soji. We can't hear you.
Toji, we can't hear you.
Sorry. Yeah, that's
Aha.
the beauty of technology. My mic was muted, right? I said I was hoping to get a word in, but hey, I mean, I thought Adela would not give me a chance to even say a few words, but it's okay. I mean, I'm used to it, They said that women rule the world,
Hey.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, Benji is, I mean, an amazing gentleman. I've been privileged to work with him in the past, and yeah, well, of course, I'm going as well. And it's like, I'll let him to introduce himself. He's like award-winning, several awards. Please don't forget to mention your awards when you introduce yourself. Okay, so no modesty allowed whatsoever. You've got to sort of nail it down. Okay, all right, Benji, over to you.
Let me just latch on to what Soji said. Don't get carried away. I mean, don't also get carried away with the sweet mouth of Soji. I'm not as big as. Anyway, my name is Benji. I am the award-winning broadcast journalist on the award-winning station, Classic FM 97.3. I organize and then anchor the book on review, the widely popular anchor book on review with Benji. That's on, transcended all continents, and it's a huge touch point. I mean, globally. And then we also started the Brands and You, where we look at advertising, the integrated marketing communication space, and then celebrate our own. Essentially that, yes, my background is mass communication with a bias for populations and advertising, even at master's level. And of course, many awards in the kitty, and then we got certifications in other areas, digital technology, digital marketing. I've done things with the American Embassy. I'm a yearly alumnus. That's the young, But apart from that, I'm just simply Benji.
All right, welcome on board. So this podcast or this episode is going to be very informal. What we're doing, the whole essence of this podcast is to allow authors to learn bits and bobs about the outside world, because we write
Yeah.
books and we get carried away in the books or within them. But we write the books, we need to take them out, we need to advertise, we need to work with other people in the industry, illustrators, editors, come on TV shows, bits and bobs. So the main aim of this podcast is for authors to listen and pick up one or two things that will help their direction of travel in the work that they are doing. So we're bringing you here, and may I say that welcome, because you're the very first expert that we're bringing in. Hey, you're the first expert we're bringing in. So that's really great. So, without much ado, I just want you to just tell us, how you got into working with authors in particular. So that's the starting point. I know you're a host. You work in a radio station. You're very good at nailing authors to the wall, or discussing their
Ah,
books with them. But just tell us briefly why authors in the first place. How did you get involved in working with? How did it come about?
well, first and foremost, I can't say this without mentioning that virtues, morals have been seriously eroded.
Mm,
Everyone is on the drive, on the grind for just money without looking at the process.
yeah,
And then I look at how we got there. And I
yeah,
realized that one of the things that took us there is we started to disbelieve merit and education, the role of education.
mm,
Lost it when we stopped reading.
yeah,
We got to a point where we only read simply because probably we're looking for promotion.
mm,
Maybe we're looking, unless that reading is now tied to gratification
mm,
rather than bring social change.
yeah,
So it was from that I started to look at it and say, look, we must bring back a bit of morals, if not in its entirety, and
mm,
then also to look at what we can do to society to bring social change.
yeah,
We also looked at, I mean, the only way we can have a good governance, I mean, good government running is when we vote right. Now, how
yeah.
can you have a society vote right when they are not informed? And the only way you can get informed is when you read, when,
Mm,
I mean, education in the right space of mind.
mm.
So that's essentially what led to us starting the Classic FM book on review.
That's
So
great.
it's more of social change than
Mm,
anything. And thank God that we've had some of the intelligent minds, great
mm.
minds, including Adiola Shonala here, who's been on
Eh,
twice. So essentially that's the
mm,
major reason. By His
mm,
grace, we live in it.
mm. All right. So thank you for sort of giving us a bit of background. So like we said, we need to give people tips. So if the authors you've spoken to and you've worked with, how did they get in touch with you? Because one of the things authors find difficult is that they are so involved in writing their books. It's very difficult for us to promote. I don't,
True,
when they call me and say, "Oh, have you promoted your book?" I'm like, "Oh, leave me alone." But without promoting your book, nobody knows about it, nobody hears about
true,
it. So,
true.
how easy is it to get in touch with people like you to say, "You know what, I've written a book. I want to talk to you about it. I want the whole world to know about it. What is the process? Can you talk us through that?"
Well, the process is large, but at the same time, it's long, but at the same time, you could also shorten it. First and foremost, it's not by mistake that authors today now reach out to Book on Review to say, hey, look, even as we speak, we have books lined up till September next year.
Wow.
So any getting now, it's probably from October next year. I mean, that's how large that we've become.
Wow.
But we also time that for you to promote anything, you need to promote yourself first.
Yeah.
You need to put yourself in a place of visibility so others can connect and believe in what you do. Believe and then connect.
Yeah.
Um, so for you first and foremost, what we realized is one of the first things that we realized is the days of radio appealing to just the ears and the eyes, rather
Mhm.
the ears. Those days are. We realized that technology has come in, and
Mhm.
technology has married so much so that we now appeal to all the five senses, even the sixth sense. So
Mm.
the first thing that we look for is we started to look out for authors who before now used to do it like the first and the second generation authors, where they would write a book and then the book on itself would have wings and then will fly.
Mm.
But this time around, an author needs to go beyond all of that. Well, because one, population has increased. But unfortunately for us, as population is increasing, the love for reading is decreasing.
Mm.
So it makes it even more cumbersome for an author to have touch points with
Yeah.
readers.
Yeah.
So what we do is, apart from us touching base with authors, we also create avenues for the authors to fly by
Yeah.
marrying to technology, social media, digital media. And the good thing for us, going back to technology, is Classic FM also came in and then we redefined radio. What we did with Classic FM is to say, let's have touch points, interface with technology, where so that we are, pushing out from Lagos, but then you can listen to us. It doesn't matter where you are at the global level. That's one of the things that technology has helped us to do. And in doing that, has also helped us to position ourselves
Mm.
in the driving seat. So an author comes in, we also leverage on what we've done to connect with the author by giving the person the ability to get heard globally
Mm.
and also the ability to latch on our heavy digital media presence
Mm.
to, yeah, first of all, we've got a graphics department, we've got a business, we've got a publicist and the show development executive,
Mm.
and they all look at all of this, and then we'll push out. We'll go on
Mm.
LinkedIn, we'll go on Threads, Twitter, you know. The days of writing a book and staying back that the book is good enough now to sell itself, those days are gone.
Yeah. Keep dreaming. Yes.
Exactly. So
Mm.
authors need to position themselves before you even write at all. First and foremost, you must look at the marketing. What's the marketability of you writing? Unless, of course, probably I'm doing a memoir. It's about my dad, or probably it's about what I've done. It's about
Mm.
my dog, and then we can do that, and then it stays in my wardrobe.
Mm.
But if I'm people first and foremost, like what, and it's heartwarming to know that it's Diola that's on the other side,
Oh,
asking me all
thank
of this.
you.
What she's done is what I want to talk about. Right from the get go, Diola has defined who our audience is.
Mm.
And then she knows what the audience enjoy, where to find them. So,
Mm.
i- in knowing that has helped her to also say, look, because I know who I want to reach, this is the way I want to write to connect
Mm.
with them.
Mm.
And then in her book, she is consistent in what she does.
Mm.
When she's doing nonfiction, she's very consistent. When she's doing her poems, she's also very consistent. And
Mm.
guess what? What she's doing to target different audience with the different books that she's written. Now, if you
Thank you.
look at the Zogi thing, that is like fantasy, like a little bit more cerebral, like into the future kind of thing.
Mm.
And but it brings you back to, yes, we can connect the future with the past. That's what
Yeah.
he's done. But then if you look at our poem, so um, that's what authors should be looking at. And
Mm.
then today we also have someone like Soji Fagade. Soji Fagade is somebody who has done so well in the digital media space.
Mm.
Um, he's following what the terrestrial is saying. Is grounded in the terrestrial thing, yeah, in broadcast, traditional broadcast. But at the
Mm.
same time, he has also interfaced with the digital media. So
Mm.
he also is, and apart from the literary space, he's also done things in entertainment. He's been in the corporate world. So he has a constant. He's constantly in the know as to
Mm.
what's trend. Digital space is there, sports
Yeah.
entertainment is there, corporate world is there. So,
Mm.
and that's the way to fly these days.
Yeah.
It's really marketing a brand and marketing an author, incidentally, have converged. What we now
Mm.
have is a convergence of marketing techniques to
Yeah.
drive an author.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Benji, Absolutely amazing. I mean, I think a lot of authors come to your space because for a number of reasons. This is me
Yeah.
guessing here, and correct me if I'm wrong. So you have the traditional publishing space, which is someone writes a book, finds a publisher, and gets the publisher to do all of the marketing and all of that, right? But increasingly, because the market is change face a great deal. There's a lot of what I call things online now. People do a lot of self-publishing, and because authors generally, maybe publishers I find it a little bit difficult to make more margins on traditional publishing, and people are reading less actual published books and reading more electronic type material, right? You find that space is maybe shrinking a bit, and because of that, what you might call entry level authors or your general your single person who just started writing out in writing, never done any writing in their life before. They want a platform to be able to promote themselves. So obviously they turn to, I mean, folks like you or folks like, I mean, other people who have other radio stations or podcasts or things that have a lot of wide exposure, right? But don't necessarily require what I call a big entry point, if you like. I mean, some people might need to pay you money, some people might need to pay you, either in terms of relationship or leverage the relationship they have with you or with other persons to be able to get access to those platforms, right? Now, from what Adela was saying now was, look, if I'm Joe Blog, I landed from outer space today, right? And I wanted to get my book out there, and of course, because this podcast is meant to help people who want to say, look, what do I even start? Do I write a letter to somebody, or do I call somebody, or do I call, do I send an email, do I send a manuscript to somebody, or what do I really have to do in practical terms to get my book out there to the public? I know you said people need to sort of, okay, fine, they need to promote themselves on social media themselves and get known, right? But nobody knows me, so but I'm talented.
Yeah.
So can you see that catch 22? So help the author.
Okay. For me, I believe that the first step really is to have a dream. I don't write. I shouldn't write because Diola is writing, and probably he's making money. And then I decide to go write. I shouldn't go into online or digital marketing simply because Sojifaga does it so well and is making money. So the first thing to do is to dream, to say, okay, am I convinced that I am a writer?
Yeah.
Now, I may not be a writer. It still doesn't mean that I cannot write. Do you have a story? If you have a wonderful story, a story could be influenced. It could be an experience.
Yeah.
It could be, what's that word? When something comes to you that you didn't, what's that word?
Eureka moment. Light bulb.
Now,
Inspiration
if
or something.
it could be inspiration.
Yeah.
Now, if you got a very good story, but you're not articulate enough to put pen to paper, you could also record it and then get someone to write, where ghost writing comes in.
Yeah.
But however, these two are very integral to you even veering into writing. Now that you have a story, you can write. Now, you now need to apply the technicalities, and first and foremost, before you even, well, it's one thing, you could put your story out there, you could write it down, and then once you've done that, some people start that way. Let me write the story the way it's coming to me. Then they write it anyhow. They write it in any language they want. Okay, now they've done that. They put it on the ground. Then you now leave your comfort zone and start to ask around that, look, are there technicalities? And good enough, Google is a friend. You could go on Google, okay, what technicalities? Who am I writing for? How do I touch? How do I, And then you start to break down what you've written. You start to make meaning. You now have to segue one chapter to the other. You build the story. Meanwhile, when you were writing, you didn't flesh it up. You just wrote because that's the way it appeared to you, probably from experience. Somebody hurt me. I did business, and from there, I had money. I got grounded, and suddenly I picked up. Yes, that's the way the story is. But however, you can't write it for me and expect that I will enjoy that kind of book. So there must be a process to it. Now, so that process must come. How do I move from chapter 1 to chapter 2, from chapter 2, 3, and all of that? Now, when you have done all of that, you also need to get someone to proofread. You also need someone to edit. You need someone that will develop the story. Of course, the person will not lose the meaning behind your experience because it's yours.
Of course.
You know, and then they will develop. And then after they develop, there's a whole lot of process, but I'm trying, because
Of
of time, we're
course.
trying to summarize,
Yeah.
you know. And then after the people have read, they've edited, they've looked at it, and then you give it to someone that will develop the story. The person listens to the story, listens to you, and then goes to read the book and try to see if they can connect. Now, characterization plays a huge role. The way you place your character and how you develop the life of that character in the book, also, that's what the business, the book development person will do for you. Now, once you've done all of that, then you start to source that, okay, now I've done this book. What category is it? Is it children's book? Is it a poem? Is it
Yeah.
now not fiction, but what category? Is it fairy tale? Is it this? Is that, that? Now you've placed this. Then the second thing will now be which author, which publishing firm can I reach out to?
Yeah.
Would they be willing to take this kind of book? Is it this kind of story that's raining? Let me use the word raining in hypothesis.
Yeah.
Thing. Okay, if it is, which publishing company can I reach out to? Now, you're going to also divide that into two. Maybe I can't find a publishing company that will take it. Is this something I can publish on my own? On that publishing on your own, there are also two aspects to that. There are some publishing firms that also run imprints where they allow us to come, publish the way you want, just use our name to drive it. But every other thing, when if there are errors in your book, you're on your own.
Of
So
course.
you're going to look at all these three things I said. And then once that is done, now you have a publisher. Now your book is published. Now then the big thing about pushing your book then starts, which is the marketing side of it.
Yeah.
Now in marketing, different things will come to play. Let me again go back to what Diola has done. And I think it plays a very huge role in understanding all of this. And by the way, you're listening to us right now, you don't know who Diola Shonola is. Maybe it would do well to just visit Google. And then you can see some of the.
I'm shy. I'm shy. Don't say that.
All right, one of the things that she's done is to, um, first of all, foremost, go on the internet, ask questions. Okay, now I want to push out my book. What do I do? Review. What programs can I go on? Who is reviewing? Who have they done? One side. Second side, you also need to latch on to book clubs, literary spaces, stakeholders in the industry, where you can also, interface with them.
Yeah.
And then one other thing Diola has done in these regards, there was a time Diola invited me over that she's doing something with Unilag, English department, and I felt, hey,
I
hey, hey, Joe.
remember.
Now, what has I've written a book got to do with English department of a university?
Yeah.
If you do not think that way, it makes it cumbersome for you to push your book out. She also realized there are some people who are not in this nest that we're looking at. That's where the University of Lagos, comes in. So these are some of the areas that authors should be looking at. And then you need to also look at yourself as a person. An author for 2023, the first thing an author needs to do is to first and foremost brand himself or herself, as the case may be.
Yeah.
If you do not brand yourself, you become a hard sell. And not just you, but even your book.
Yeah.
I mean, you should be receptive to because if you do not brand yourself, if you do not scale up whoever you are, I mean, for an example, you probably are invited to a book club to read, and then you're one cocky, you're one that's a hard sell for you already. You're going to kill the brand. So you need to find a way where you can interface with a whole lot of stakeholders. You understand that these are people in the industry that drive it. And then you now go to taking your book into other areas like creating podcasts for it, going online, do it a lot of media engagement. You probably want to do audio versions of your book, So these are some areas that authors, and then the big one is the possibility of, who knows, maybe you get a school or two schools or 10 states to take your book and say, look, children in secondary school can read this for. So these are all the avenues these are touch points for you as an author. No longer that I've written a book and the book is Things Fall Apart. The book will sell itself, Jerry. Let me just go and relax. Those days are
Things for impact.
Thank you so much,
Thank you
Benji.
so much, Benji. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, the key thing I've picked from what you've said is the fact that authors need to interface and work with other stakeholders to be able to bring their books to life. And it's also all about branding. You brand yourself, you brand your books, you're out there working with so many people. I can't remember that I invited you to that University of Lagos gig,
oh yeah.
the literary department. It was amazing. They were asking me so many difficult questions, but it was absolutely lovely. It was absolutely lovely. So thank you so much. I'm going to allow my co-host to speak. But before you leave or before we finish this, you're just going to give us one tip and one quote. So for everyone we're bringing in, there'll be that one tip. So when Benji came, he said this and it was like, Eureka moment. I'm just going to run with it. So be thinking about that while Soji sort of contributes to what you've said.
Okay.
That's a hard act to follow, right? I mean, Benji has spoken on so many points, right? I don't even know where to begin now. Now he mentioned a lot of points which Adela has covered on previous episodes of this podcast. So you can go and watch other episodes that sort of deal with self-publishing, that deal with turning your books into an audiobook, episodes that talk about how you get a publisher. Those episodes are there in the archive, so you can go and have a look at those. But I think one of the keys that struck me more than anything else is the way you alluded to the value of building relationships and how you can leverage those relationships in a way to ensure that not just it's sort of what you might call in coherence with your brand as a brand one, and also with your person as well. So that you're building relationships that sort of not only help you personally, but also help your brand, right? And at the same time, add value to those people who you build relationships with, right? Now, the first time I met you was obviously through Adiola, and we've become friends as a result of that. And I think the only reason we're able to bring you here to this program is on the basis of that relationship we built over the years, And I felt reasonably confident that if you ask you to come on the show, I think it shouldn't be that difficult. Not because I'm taking you for granted, but based on the strength of relationship we've built up over the years, Yeah. And that has absolutely nothing to do with publishing, absolutely nothing to do with marketing. Just the fact that we have that relationship, and it just tells you that relationship is so crucial in a lot of stuff that we do. Isn't that right? I think you alluded to that.
Yes.
Benji.
True. I totally agree. True.
So, and as a result of that, I think for aspiring authors, of course, marketing is important. But sometimes it's those relationships that you built in the past that help you to access places that you would not normally have access to, And when you leverage those networks that you built over time, so what you're saying essentially is, so keep an open mind, right? Have an eye on your brand as a brand, right? And what you want your brand to project, the image you want your brand to project. At the same time, the audience you want to be able to address your thoughts, your book, or your products to. So all of these things are very, very important, according to you. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. You're very right.
And Adiola has obviously built up her own platform in a way to ensure that, look, you have not just social media platforms like Instagram, Twitter. You also have a YouTube channel and also a podcast as well. Now, all of these things are things that I mean, of course, it requires hard work. Of course, I mean, so Rome wasn't built in a day, and sometimes it may take you years before you actually begin to see the result. But when the results begin to come in, trust me,
True.
you put you look at the efforts you put in and think, oh, thank God I put in those efforts, and it's always a continuous learning curve. It's a continuous
Yes.
learning curve. You always learn lessons along the way as well. Now, Benji, I know you have a lot of things to get on with, and we appreciate you so much. We thank you for the amazing tips you've been able to share with us today, and
Thank
It's
you.
of course,
going
we
to
look forward
share
to seeing you again in the
more.
future.
Don't close it. Don't close
No,
this.
no,
It's going to
I'm
share
not. I'm
more
not.
with us.
I'm not closing it. No, 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 I'm not. I'm not. I'm
Yeah, I
not.
thought you were. It sounded as if you were rounding up.
Oh
I
no,
don't
no,
want
no, no,
Benji
no,
to
no, no.
go.
Listen, I always have find ways of putting a smile on Benji's face. Now, if people want to get in touch with you, Benji, how would they get in touch with you?
Well, you can maybe I'll take Diola's request first, and then I'll get into it. I hope that's fine.
Okay,
Yeah,
fine.
that's fine.
Yeah, Diola talked about tips. I'll just say two things. First and foremost, be original. Second, know what and who you're writing for. Are
Okay.
you writing? Are you speaking our story? Are you writing our story? Are you writing for the outside world, or you're writing our story and selling it to the outside world? So whatever it is, you need to know. As to quotes, we'll use our quote on the book on review, and I'll simply say that a nation that doesn't read cannot develop. That is the quote today. Um, Soji, um, well, please refresh my head. What was it you asked, Soji?
How to get in touch with you? How
Yeah,
can
how
people
to.
reach you?
Well, a lot of people think I'm a celebrity, but I don't see myself as
Ah,
that.
you
But it's fine.
are.
Modesty doesn't work on this program. You know that. You got to big up yourself.
The goldfish has nowhere to hide, but it's fine. You can hit me up on all social media platforms. I'm on Thread, I'm on Twitter, Benjamin Okoh. Okoh here is spelled Okoh. I'm on Instagram with about 24,000 followers. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on TikTok. Name it, we're there. Name it. So yeah, you can touch base with me on
Okay.
those platforms. Benjamin
Right.
Okoh. I mean,
Yeah.
Google your friend. You can also Google Benjamin Okoh. I mean, it will point you in the right direction.
Okay. All right. And do
Absolutely.
you discriminate against authors, or do you speak to anyone that contacts you? Ah, because some people say, oh, where they write people don't respond to them. So do you embrace everyone? I know you're sort of full until next year. So I'm just trying to, maybe authors are listening and they think, oh my God, he's saying that. I'm sure if we write him, he's not going to respond. What do you say to that?
No, we respond. The first time we got an award on Book on Review, that was when I realized that it's no longer me. Then I need to bring. For example, the publicist and show development person is someone who has masters in microbiology. I mean, she's in medicine field, but then she loves books, and she's a lady. That also has brought in its own flair on the show. We'll have a person who, also has masters. We have someone who runs our website. I mean, these are people that are, in terms of academic, whatever, they stand, height to height with me.
Okay.
They also clear. So that also helps us to look at authors. We do not discriminate, but the most important thing is your book has to be good. We would not discriminate, and so we just take anything on the show. No.
Okay.
So if you call that discrimination, well, I mean, it's a positive discrimination.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have used that word. So what you're saying is that the quality and the standard of your book has to be good, and I get it because if you're award winning, you can't feature everyone.
True.
So you must maintain that standard and quality that your show actually projects. So I
Exactly.
get that. So discrimination is a wrong word. So what I'm going to be telling authors is that before you contact Benji, make sure your book is kosher. It must be really good, the quality and the standard. And you will feel confident as well when you send the book, so because you will get a response. Because I assume that the people that send books to you that don't get a response are the people that the quality of their books are really not up to scratch.
Yeah, exactly.
That
Exactly. But what we do is it doesn't matter the kind of quality that you have. If it doesn't meet, we'll still send you a mail to explain to you. So we won't just stay mute. We won't just stay mute. Because we realize the importance of relationships.
yeah,
I mean, someone who's reading a book that is not so good could end up writing, who knows, a bestseller tomorrow.
yeah,
You know?
yeah.
So that's essentially what we do. We'll still write you. We'll still tell you that So that's what we do on the show.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming. Thank you, Soji. I think Soji is burning to say something. I can see that smile on his face.
Oh no,
Uh,
no, 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 no! It's I love how you just sort of reiterated the value of relationships again, because you don't burn your bridges. Because I mean, even though your book may not be that great, at least you still sort of say, "Oh, we got your book. Thank you very much." You know, we were not going to proceed with you on this occasion, but these are things you can do to improve it or get to us back in the future. So that at least that person doesn't feel entirely terrible, if you like. They might feel terrible that they don't get on, but at least they know the reason why, so they know how to improve, and that's fantastic. It's honestly, it's always a pleasure. I mean, dealing with you and talking to you, Benji. I mean, I'm not going to say any more than that, but yeah, thanks.
Likely
Thanks
we
for being
invite
here.
you again. We don't know because you said we should keep branding and moving. So we're branding this, we may brand out into something else, but we will always be friends. So thank you for being the very first expert, that special person coming to sort of grace a Bookyard podcast, is most appreciated. Your time is appreciated. Thank you. And thanks to Soji, who does all the work behind the scenes with the team that we work with. Thank you. Because without them, sorry, I'm an author. I only write. But like I said, you don't work in isolation. You have to work with these two beautiful guys I'm seeing on the screen, and some I should say, and many other people we're bringing into this show to speak to you. So thank you very much.
I'm shy.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
I, I am
I'm
indeed
being
honored.
shy.
Thank
Don't be,
Let me
don't be.
just say very quickly before we go that we'll leave links to Benjamin's social media platforms in the description panel below, so you can just go in there and see all of what Benji does. But yes, thank you so much, Benji. It's been fantastic having you, and Adela, thank you for obviously having me as a co-host on this program. I really appreciate it.
You will always be a
yes,
co-host. Thank you.
very
And
much
I
looking
hope the
forward to
authors
future
got
episodes.
tips on what they need to work with or run with. But if you have any questions for Benji, do not hesitate to contact him using the contact details that is going to be given to you. And it may be you that we're inviting next. So get on and get that work out.
And don't forget to subscribe, share this, and comment, and leave your comments as well. Okay. And if you want to get notified anytime we go live or put up a video, please click on the bell button to get notified anytime videos are released. Yes, we look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you. Bye, Benji. Bye.
Thanks for joining Adiola on this journey. She looks forward to exploring the world of self-publishing with you. Make sure to subscribe to the Bookyard and join in every week for a new episode. Until next time, keep writing and keep dreaming big.